Well, hello there, Floss Tube. It's Kathleen, Kathleen's Trodden Trail, coming to you on a very dreary, rainy, it's not really raining, it's just kind of wet and dreary, March 27th, I believe it is, March 27th day, end of March. It's been several weeks since I've last posted a video, and I'm using Maddie's computer today. She has a new MacBook Pro computer, and so I've had to spend a little bit of time getting acquainted with this computer and trying to figure it out, and hopefully this will work okay. And what I'm kind of hoping is that if I create the video on here, I can upload something longer than 15 minutes, but we shall see. I have lots to show you today. A little bit of a life update, I suppose. The children are in Germany. They left last Thursday morning, and they are having a fantastic time. We're able to be in touch with them about twice a day through texting. And then when they have Wi-Fi, when they're back at the hotels or someplace that Wi-Fi is readily available, then we're able to text back and forth with them. But Germany is 6 hours ahead of us, so when they're kind of in the height of their day, getting their day started midday, it's kind of the middle of the night for us. So it's been a little bit challenging. I miss them so much. I mean, my workload is next to nothing, not having two teenagers around the house, but it is just crazy to me how much I miss them, and I'm just counting the days. They'll be back next Sunday, late Sunday night, and so they're having a great time. They had their first performance yesterday at a church service. I think it was First Lutheran Church in, now I'm going to forget the name of the town that they were in, but I wish, Sylvia, if you're watching, I wish I could remember. I know yesterday they were in Erfurt, E-R-F-U-R-T, a little teeny tiny town. But they've been sending pictures, and oh my goodness, just beautiful, just quaint, neat little towns. So they're having a great time performing and meeting people and just touring around, and so it's a wonderful opportunity for them. But I'm ready, really ready for them to be back. So a second life update, because I know I talked about this before, is that Ryan heard back from the one big university in Virginia, George Mason. That was his top pick, and that George Mason has actually been his top pick since he was a sophomore in high school. He's wanted to go there, and they did award him a sizable music scholarship. So I'm thinking that is going to be his school. He actually got that email from them the first morning that they were in Germany, and so he texted me, Wi-Fi be damned, and we paid the data charges, but he texted me to let me know that they did award him a music scholarship that will enable, it doesn't make his tuition free by any means, but it gets it down to a manageable level. And so between the music scholarship and the academic scholarship that they had already given him. So we haven't heard back from Concordia University in Chicago yet. He already has academic from there, waiting on the music scholarship. But I think that it will probably be equivalent, to what George Mason has given him, and that was his second choice. So I think he'll be heading to Virginia. So that's a long ways from Nebraska, folks. But wow, I made a cup of coffee, and I put it way over here to drink. So anyway, so yeah, that's that, and yeah, kind of coming to terms with the fact that he's gonna be gone, and we'll be down to one. So anyway, let's do stitchy stuff, because I don't want to go down that path. I have been doing a lot of stitching. I have in no way, shape, or form stuck to my rotation. I don't know. when I create my rotation, it feels so good to have a plan. I'm kind of a planned person. I've been working from home since Maddie was about 6 months old. So I've been working from home for about 16 and a half years. And from the very beginning, I have a very regimented schedule. I have a certain day of the week that I do laundry, a certain day of the week that I clean house, certain day of the week that I run errands. Very, very regimented. And I like that. And it's kind of how I survived being home with 2 toddlers and an elementary age daughter and worked from home. And I thought that doing that, and I love when I see other people talk about their rotations and how much, and it just seems like they're making progress and they're getting a lot done. But I tell you what, things call to me, and I don't know. Anyway, I'm not stuck to my rotation, not at all. But I have gotten a couple things done, so I'll show you, and I don't know. I still want to go back to a rotation. I still want to do a rotation. I just haven't found one that quite works yet, so we'll see. Okay, this is my 3rd cup of coffee. I'm going to be so completely wired. I am not sleeping well with the kids gone, and you can see it in my face. I have no makeup on, and my eyes are swollen and yucky, and oh well, hopefully you'll forgive me. I'm not sleeping well. I did not sleep well the week before they left, worrying about, remembering everything that they had to pack and take and all the things we had to do before they left. And then they left, and they flew from Omaha to Atlanta to Paris to Berlin. And so they were supposed to arrive in Paris at what would have been 3 a.m. our time. So that first night I woke up about 3:08, and they had just landed, and I tracked their flight, and so I thought, okay, then that first night, then now I'll sleep. No, I'm waking up between 3 and 4 every morning, and I can't go back to sleep. And so I'm super tired. And then you would think I would go to sleep earlier at night, but not. Instead, I'm watching Floss Tube. So yeah, I'm, creating my own problems here. Start off with a couple of needle minders. Every time I say I don't need any more needle minders, I'm not going to order any more needle minders. McKenna at Sincere Stitches posts some new needle minders that she's made, and she had made several, and I went to look at the couple that she had posted, I think on Instagram or something, and then I saw several more that I liked. So I think I bought, 5 or 6 from her, and some of them are already on projects, but I have 3 here that I've been holding off putting on projects until I could show you. So the one that got me to kind of start looking is this adorable, I can just do it like this. This adorable flamingo. And I think I've told you this story about my neighbor friends who, and we used to flock houses to raise money for the school, and with flamingos, the pink, plastic lawn flamingos. So I had to get the flamingo, and then just this beautiful blingy pair. And then I'm not sure what she calls this one. It reminds me of blown glass, and I love blown glass or stained glass, and just kind of reminds me of that, and I just thought it was adorable. So now I can put those on projects. I haven't been keeping those on projects, but I will. So ordered those, and then I think I went into my LNS and bought a couple of the ones that are in bottle caps. So the little flat ones that are in bottle caps, but I don't know, those are probably on project somewhere. So I had my rotation. I redid my rotation for March and had it all down to include my, oh my goodness, you guys, I'm so tired. I'm sorry. To include my Hawk Run Hollow and Happily Ever After. And for some reason, okay. And then I started looking. I was watching, oh, darn it. I'm going to forget her name. Should have written it down. Not Ladybird from Australia, but, oh, that's just going to drive me crazy. The Floss Tuber from Australia who's in school and works and stitches like crazy, and she's doing all 12 of the Alice in Wonderland Brooks books. It's everybody. It's Alice, it's the Rabbit, it's the Mad Hatter, the Queen of Hearts. It's all of them, and mushrooms, and and the cat, the Cheshire Cat. I love Alice in Wonderland. I think it was the first movie I'd ever seen when I was growing up, when I was tiny. I still remember bits and pieces of it, and it kind of freaked me out. It's kind of a different, the Disney animated. But I love Alice in Wonderland. It's one of my very, very favorites. And so I went to Brooks Books to look at that in consideration, kind of considering it, and saw all this other cute stuff. And so it was spring, and there was a freebie pattern, and I think there was a spring, summer, winter, fall pattern or chart available. And I had just picked up some fabric when I had gone to the LNS. I picked up some little snippets of fabric, just little for smalls, like remnants kind of thing. And I picked up this green, thinking I really have no idea what I'm going to use that for. And when I saw this spring, I think it's kind of like a window. It's kind of like looking either in the window of a kitchen in the spring or out the window of a kitchen. I'm not sure what it's supposed to be, but that's what it reminds me of. Anyway, I thought, oh, that green fabric is so perfect for that. I'm going to have to do that. And you guys, I did what I do every month. I sat down and I stitched that thing start to finish in just a couple of days, and rotation be damned. And anyway, this turned out so cute, and I ended up putting it in one of my frames that my March or April Sunflower Diaries was going to go in, the freebie, the monthly sale for that. So anyway, here it is. This is Brooks Books. Let's see. I have to figure out how this camera works. So this is Brooks Books Spring. I can't remember what it's called, Spring Window or whatever. It called for some Mill Hill beads, and I didn't have any Mill Hill beads, and I had some cheap beads that I had bought at like Hobby Lobby or something in their jewelry section, and I tried those and they were way too big. So back to the LNS to get Mill Hill beads, and so it's got the little tail. I don't know if you can see, but the little tail is beaded, and then some of these little things here are beaded, and then there's beading along, kind of a lace beading along the edge here, and I just think that turned out, and I love the frame with it. I think it turned out super cute. I'm just going to say it. And, yeah, so the other thing that I discovered when I framed it myself, obviously, and I tried it with glass and without glass, and I liked it best without glass. I have it here behind me. I have this antique cupboard. I have it in there and behind glass, so I figured it was okay to leave it and not keep it in glass, because I change this out seasonally, and it has all the Easter things in it right now. So I figured it was okay to do it without glass, but we'll see over time. I can always change it out. I did do something else kind of interesting that I wanted to share with you guys. I liked the way it turned out. Vonna talks about adding a lightweight interfacing on the back of her projects when she makes them into pillows. I think she may do it for flat folds too, but I know she certainly does when she makes them into pillows. And she uses the kind that is not sticky on both sides, but I happen to have the kind that was sticky on both sides. And so what I did with this was I ironed that fusible to the back of it, and that left a little bit of sticky residue, and I ironed that to the cardboard that came with the frame. And I kind of liked that, at least for this particular one. I don't know that I would do it for all, and I'm not sure that's acid free. I wouldn't do that for something that I'd spent a lot of time and money on. This took me like 2 days. I mean, it was so quick. It was such fun to do. Oh, and there's a mistake in this. I forgot about that. Can you see down here how there's like these little squares, or I don't know if they're supposed to be little flowers in the table. I think this is like a tablecloth is what it reminds me of. And right here, do you see where that one is off? Yeah, I saw that. I left it. I thought, yeah, it's okay. I'm just going to leave that. So anyway, that's that. And then, so I was going to show you last year, I have a girlfriend who loves to craft, and she's a lot more creative than I am, in that she can come up with a lot of her own ideas where I don't so much. And I don't know if this was her own idea or whatever, but she made these little chicks for me last Easter. And she made the little wired feet, and she made a whole bunch of them in all different colors of wool that I had given her, that she had borrowed for another project. And this was wool that I had used in rugs, in previous rugs that I had made. And so she gave me, I don't know, like 5 or 6, 7, 8 of them, something like that. So I have this sitting back in there with these little chicks surrounding it. I think it looks really cute. I really like that. So that just kind of helps out with my Easter vignette kind of thing. I'm sorry, I'm probably not looking at you guys. I don't know where to look with this camera. Okay, so that was one rotation 0 project on the fly one, I guess. You can tell I feel bad about it. I have guilt. Cross stitch guilt is ridiculous. Crafting guilt, but I have guilt. So in the midst of doing that, I was watching Floss Tube, and I was looking at Instagram, and I saw Vanna. I watched a tutorial that she did. She did a phenomenal, you guys. She did an awesome tutorial on stand-ups. And I have a whole series of Thanksgiving stand-ups that include pilgrims and Indians and a ship like the Santa Maria or the Pinta or something like that, and a stalk of corn with some pumpkins, and they're all meant to be stand-ups. They're needlepoint, they're not cross-stitch. And I've been putting off doing those because I didn't know how to finish them. And our needlepoint store, we have an awesome needlepoint store here in Omaha. They have a wonderful finisher who does beautiful finishing, but oh, it's really expensive to have things finished. And I get that. I would charge if I were doing finishing for people, and I could do work like that. I would absolutely charge what she charges, but I just couldn't justify, having all of these. So I have a whole series of Thanksgiving ones, and I just bought a whole series of Halloween ones that have a mummy and Frankenstein and a witch and, a cat, black cat. And now I know how I can finish them. I can use Vanna's tutorial and finish them. I'm so excited. But anyway, I was watching her tutorial, and then I was looking at something that she had posted on Instagram, and I forgot to bring something, but that's okay. I'll just tell you about it. Vanna had done this little Raggedy Ann Happy Hearts. And I took one look at that, and I finished Brooks Book Spring, and I started Happy Hearts. It was a freebie. She mentioned it was a freebie, and now I can't remember who it was from. But anyway, it's a freebie. If you go to Vanna's blog, she talks about it, and you can find the freebie in there. So I didn't want to buy anything that I needed for it. I didn't have any of the reds. I didn't want to do it in, it's a lot of red and white. Well, here, let me show it to you, and then I can just kind of talk about it a little bit. I didn't want to spend any money, so I used a piece of fabric, again, a snippet of fabric that I had, and it's kind of a lavendery fabric. And so then I decided to make it a little bit more prim instead of using the white and the reds that it called for that I didn't have. So I used kind of more of an ecru, and anyway, there's Happy Hearts. Got it all done and thought, well, for goodness sakes, this is Christmas. I mean, it's a Christmas tree with snow. And then I thought, well, I'm going to turn it into a Christmas tree or a tree with a blanket. And I'm going to put it up, and I'm going to have it up all the time. It's just going to be up all the time. Well, the more I've looked at it, it reads really Christmassy or very Valentine's to me. The reason I was so drawn to this, though, is that when I was little, when I was like probably first, second grade, someone had given me a life-size Raggedy Ann, stuffed Raggedy Ann doll that I think someone crafted. It was very, very cute, and it was bigger than I was when I originally got it. And then when I was in, I think, third or fourth grade, we did not have a lot of money when I was growing up, and so Halloween was really all about coming up with, there were no store-bought costumes. I mean, it was coming up with what you could come up with, and I had gone as a hobo, because with coffee ground, I had done that, and my mom came up with the idea: could you wear that Raggedy Ann? Could you wear her clothes? And they fit me. The little dress, the little bloomers, they fit me, and my mom painted my nose. Her hair was yarn, and we were able to, it was just barely tacked on, and so we were able to untack it, and I wore her hair. I wore the whole thing. So I've always loved Raggedy Ann, and I have they're actually little snowmen, Raggedy Ann and Andy, that I keep up kind of year round. And so anyway, when I saw that, I had to do Raggedy Ann and the little, yeah. Anyway, it's cute. I like it. I don't know. I need to finish it. I don't know how I'll finish it. I think I may do it as a pillow, but I was thinking I would leave it up year round, and then, yeah, I don't think so. So, okay, I'm kind of skipping around because I just have things here in the basket, and I have a couple of finishes from last year. These are both, I think, from, oh, the name is going to escape me. Shoot. I'm sorry. You all have done stuff from this website. She has great patterns, but she has some freebies. I believe she's in Italy. I'm sorry, I cannot remember. But anyway, these were her 2 freebies. And I think a lot of times when you look at her freebies or at her website, she has words written in maybe French. I'm not sure. French, Italian, maybe. At any rate, this was one of them, and it was, I looked at translator, and it said spring, but in a different language, so I changed it to say spring here. And it's just the bunnies and the little duck and the butterflies, and darn it, I'm working on a pattern by this lady. Why can't I think of it? We'll come to it. So anyway, and then I finished it. The fabric that I used is some Asian fabric that is from, I believe it's from Japan, and my local quilt shop carried a whole slew of this really interesting, unique fabric. And a lot of it is very dark. There's a lot of black and browns and dark blues. And some of it is printed and some of it isn't. But I thought this pink just worked really well. And here we go again is another little pillow that I sure would at some point would like to redo. My corners aren't square. Vanna would just cry if she saw this. Anyway, I added some of this to it, finished it. I really didn't know what I was doing with finishing this time last year, but I'm still kind of pleased with that. And then that says spring, and then my other one says spring. My dog has found something over here. And here's another one that says spring, and I'm pretty sure it's from the same website with the little sheep. And I added some beading to it, and I think that's sweet. And then on this one, on the back, I used wool from my wool stash, and on the front, I used a little bit of fabric. So I'm going to show you something else. I talked a little bit about Alice in Wonderland, and I have something to show you here in a second about Alice. Hopefully I have it here. But I've sort of been enamored with Alice ever since I saw people doing the Brooks books, Alice in Wonderlands. And I used to quilt quite a bit. I don't as much anymore. But I still get daily emails from a couple different quilt shops and online shops around the country, and one of them is called Homespun Hearth, and they have great stuff and great customer service. Tracy P., I don't know if you watch my videos, you probably don't, but she was talking yesterday about paying for products, and that you're paying, she kind of feels like you're paying for not only the product, but customer service that goes along with it. And I agree with you 150%. Even if a product is cheaper and exactly what I want, if customer service is lacking, I think because what I do is what I do in my job, my work, is very customer service minded. I am very, very aware of customer service, and that is something to be said for Brooks Books. I can tell you in a minute. Excellent customer service. Excellent customer service. So, but anyway, this company is called Homespun Hearth, and it's a quilt company online. I think it's just online, and their customer service is just phenomenal. So, they have a new line, and I don't know if this is a new line or not. A lot of times I just delete the videos because I don't want to spend money with quilting. But they have a line of Alice in Wonderland fabric, and they were selling it in fat quarter bundles. And look at this, you guys. I bought, because I was thinking, oh, I could do some finishing. Well, this fabric, oh my goodness gracious. It's so, and there's some stripy stuff and some polka dotty stuff. But then there's the teacups and the queen and all her people and the Mad Hatter and a little mouse, and you can see bunny ears. And there's like this black and white. Anyway, so I think this is too much and too pretty to just use on the backs. I think I may try to turn it into just a very simple small quilt. I don't know what I'll do with it. It doesn't really go with anything in my house, but I just loved it so much. So that was another kind of silly purchase. The Little Stitcher. That's where the patterns for the 2 pillows came from, the Little Stitcher. So the Little Stitcher, and I'm working on Strawberry Sisters for my girlfriend for her birthday, which was March 24th. But she's in Germany. She is the wife of the band director. So she's in Germany with my children, which is awesome because then I know if my children are behaving or not. And I told you about her. She loves red. I know she likes strawberries. She's kind of like a sister to me. So I'm doing this for her. And, oh, geez, I don't know. The pattern's in here somewhere. Hold on a second, guys. Put a bunch of other stuff on top of it. Let's see. Here's the pattern. I haven't finished much since you last saw it because I was working on all the other things and I just got back to it. My plan this week with the kids gone was to get her birthday present done this week and then rethink my rotation once again. But here is Strawberry Sisters, and I changed it up a little bit. In the original pattern, she calls for the same red to be used in the strawberries and the dresses, and I decided that I was doing the strawberries in a little bit darker red and the dresses in a plainer red. I think I'm using Carrie's Creations, kind of a variegated thread. But all I have to finish is there's a row of strawberries up here and some green, and then it says Strawberry Sisters down here, and another little strawberry plant over here, and I'm done. So hopefully I'll get it done today or tomorrow. But yeah, because technically, other than making dinner for my husband, which is questionable anyway, that's all I really have to do today. Tomorrow I should try to do some laundry maybe, but I don't know. I don't know. It's weird with the kids gone. Like, I feel like I have no purpose. I don't know. I don't want to whine about it because this is an awesome opportunity, but, you know, I don't know why the computer keeps going dark. Okay, so when I was, and I realize this is really jumping around, when I was on the Brooks Books website looking at different things, or their Etsy store, I remembered that a long time ago I had downloaded some free patterns that included, they were birthday cakes for the year. And so there was like a January, February, March birthday cake. There was like a winter set of birthday cakes, a spring set, summer set, so on, blah, 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 blah. And I had downloaded them, and I remembered that. So I went and found those patterns on my iPad, and I think I can show you this because it's free. Well, I'll show you really quick. But I decided, oh, I should make Gail, along with Strawberry Sisters, I should make her a birthday cake. So this was the one that was the spring one that really caught my eye. And I started on that because, again, I'm like, you know, the dog, have I talked about this before? The dog in the movie Up, Doug the dog, that every time he sees a squirrel, he gets distracted. Well, free charts are apparently like my squirrel. Anyway, I got a little, so another piece of fabric that I bought, the day I was buying just remnants, was this cute pink fabric. I think it's 32 or 28 count. Anyway, I thought how cute it would be to do a purple, green, and pink, or let's see, what is this? Green and lavender cake on pink fabric. So I had to start it to see. That looks really St. Patrick's Day-ish. But I guess if your birthday is March 24th, the top of the cake has lavender flowers. Like, I'm thinking they're maybe like lavender pansies, or, oh my goodness, I grow them. They're right over there. I have 2 plants of, all I can think of is lilacs. Not lilacs. See, tired. You guys, I can't do the no sleep thing. And then this was one of the cute needle minders that I picked up at the LNS the day I was there. But I will say, still haven't found a needle minder that's as good as the one McKenna makes. They're never as strong. Like, hers are super strong, and your needle just gets sucked right into it. So anyway, I think I'm not going to buy any needle minders if they're not made by McKenna. Okay, then I was watching a couple different people. Little Yellow House. Nell. Was it Nell? No, I'm getting my Floss Tube people confused. It's terrible. Gosh darn it. I need to do notes from now on. You can see the dog is wanting to go outside. No. I was watching Colorado, and now I can't think of her name, but she lives in Colorado Springs, and she's hysterical. Anyway, she was doing and working on, and I think Nell maybe was working on these at one point too, or Jen, or somebody was. Anyway, I love these. I thought those were so sweet and really cute. And at the end of the video, I'm going to insert a picture, or maybe at the beginning, of my light up tree that I talked about. And I was thinking, oh, I could do these and put little hangers on them and hang it on the light up tree. But anyway, so I went ahead, I watched the video and went to 1-2-3 Stitch and ordered the black Ada and all the floss and everything that goes with it. And this black Ada, it's hard. I'm struggling with it. So this is the start on the little piggy. I don't even know if that's the top. I think this is the top. But yeah, I need to work on that some more. I was struggling. Yeah, that Ada's, I haven't worked with Ada in years. Okay, I don't know. I guess I'll show you guys this next, maybe. So watching the sweet, beautiful stitcher from Australia, whose name I can't remember, but you'll know as soon as I show you these, who I'm talking about. And she's doing just a gorgeous job. So she is stitching all of these lovelies as one piece. I know you've seen them. And I debated and debated, and I thought, well, if I did them, I would want to do them as one piece, and they don't really go in my house. And I went to order them, and then I decided, no, I wasn't going to order them, because it's a lot of charts, 12 charts. It's a little, I mean, it's not expensive for what you get. It's just, that's money, right? So, then I watched another video of hers, and I was just in love with it. And her goal is to kind of do one per month. And I thought, well, that's a reasonable goal. I can definitely do that. Well, let me see if I can find some fabric. So I thought, if I can't find fabric locally, then I won't order it. I won't do it. I'll just let it go. So I went to the LNS, and she had one piece of fabric that she had just gotten in that day that was big enough. And it was this like boring, yucky, icky, off-white color. This calls for 28 count denim Joblin, dark blue or gray even weave. So, something along those lines. So that was all she had, and it was kind of one of those days where, anyway, that was all she had. So I bought it, I brought it home, and I dyed it myself. And so it's this gigantuous piece of fabric. And, the dyeing is okay. I dyed it like 3 or 4 times because I wasn't happy the first couple times. And I used wool dye that I used to dye wool. And it turned out okay. I showed Maddie to start, and Maddie was like, well, that fabric's ugly. And I said, I know. And she's like, you're going to have to do it, dye it something really pretty, dye it purple. And so I kind of did a bluish purple, and then I ran out of all the purple dyes, and so I added some more colors to it. So long story short, this is kind of the fabric. It's very modelly, which is what I wanted. It's got, all different blues and greens in it. It's kind of, it's okay. I mean, it's okay. The patterns are so cool that they'll be just fine. So, okay, so let me tell you this story, because this has to do with customer service. I ordered it. I immediately got, and when I placed the order, I asked if, I think his name is Eric. I asked if Eric could tell me how much fabric I would need. And he responded right away. In fact, he responded the next morning, and his response started out, I'm so sorry it took me so long to get back to you. I was like, I had just sent the email the night before. The dog got a hold of a piece of paper and is proceeding to tear it up, so I apologize. So he said, sorry it took me so long to get back to you, but it's best to check at your LNS and see what size, based on what stitch count and everything. But I kind of wanted to get the fabric before the pattern came. And he said, and by the way, we're mailing the pattern out today. Well, that was the week of the big storm back east. And I believe they are located, or the patterns came from Georgia. Is that right? Somewhere down south, Tennessee maybe. But at any rate, I thought, and here's the tracking for it. So they went out in the mail the next day, and he sent me the tracking and just right on top of it. And I kept following that tracking, and it wasn't moving. The patterns weren't moving. Well, finally, 3 or 4 days in, the Postal Service said, when I went to look at the tracking information, like I could see it had been mailed, but it was still sitting there in Georgia or Tennessee or wherever. And there was a big red bar like the 4th day. So this is now like Thursday or Friday of that week, a big red bar across the top of the website that said, due to the big storm, mail is delayed due to the big storm on the East Coast. And I knew that storm was big because we had a friend, here from the East Coast who was supposed to fly out Monday, and her flight got canceled, and the next time they could fly her out was Thursday. So she was stuck here until Thursday. So I thought, okay, that no problem. You know, no, it's not like I don't have anything to work on. No big deal. And you know, Eric was just so kind and just right on top of it and responded to my email and just, I mean, I was just very impressed. Like, he doesn't know me from anywhere. So on Monday, I look again and I see that, so this is like a little bit more than a week later after I placed the order, because I think I placed the order like late on a Saturday night or something like that. So this is like a week plus later. On Monday, I see that that on Sunday night it was delivered to the big Omaha post office distribution center, and it was out for delivery on Sunday night. And so I thought, well, I'll get it today. And so I didn't, and I thought, okay, well, I'll get it tomorrow. And I didn't. And I thought, okay, I'll get it Wednesday, and I didn't. And every day I was checking the tracking, and it just kept saying that, like, out for delivery. Like, I think it says out for delivery to destination. So on Thursday, I called the post office. And I'm an idiot because we live in a little tiny town right outside of Omaha. So for all intents and purposes, we live in Omaha. And we have a little tiny post office that has, like, a little tiny post office that has kind of limited hours. And because I don't always want to go look and see what their limited hours are, I go to the post office in the next biggest town, which is 2 miles from me, which is even closer to Omaha. And so I called that post office, and they were like, well, we'll look for you. What's the tracking number? And they're like, you live in Waterloo. Like, that doesn't come to our post office. Well, of course not. I have to call the Waterloo post office. So I call the Waterloo post office, and the Waterloo post office says, well, let me go check and see why you don't have that yet. I see that it, you know, and he comes back and says, you know, it hasn't come here. But I see that it hit the big Omaha distribution post office on Sunday night. I see that, but we don't have it. Well, shoot, I wonder if we do have it. How big do you think that package was? And I said, no, I think it's pretty tiny. It's just charts. And I'm sure he's going, no idea what that means. I said, it's probably going to come like in a soft-sided, you know, one of those soft-sided envelope kind of things. Well, let me go look one other place. And he goes and he comes back and he says, you know what I think has happened? I think that the big Omaha post office must have sent it out for distribution, and it went to one of the other small town post offices, not ours, because we have never received it. He said, and I have tomorrow off, but I'll be in the next day, and as soon as I'm in, I will check. But what I would venture to guess is that it'll then get routed back to the big Omaha post office and then to you, and I bet you'll get it day after tomorrow, or maybe tomorrow, but I'll come in day after tomorrow and I'll double check and make sure you have it. So that night I checked again, and it was updated again, so it had a new date on it, out for distribution, and it did come then the very next day. So my point in telling you all of this was, and I was so impatient for it to come. I wanted it so bad. I wanted to know if my fabric was going to work. Because of course by then I'd bought the fabric and dyed the fabric and, you know, yada, yada, yada. And I was so impatient for it. But the postal guy from my little town post office kept saying, I sure am sorry about this. And as I'm talking to him, I was kind of irritated. And then as I'm talking to him, I'm thinking, we have lived here for 10 years. I get a lot of mail. I mean, we get a lot of mail, right? We have 3 kids. We order tons of stuff on Amazon. I order tons of patterns and fabric and, knitting stuff and quilting stuff and cross-stitch stuff. And my husband orders things, well, hardly ever, but sometimes he does. And we've never, ever, ever had a delay like this. I'm thinking, I just need to be patient. They're doing everything they can. And he kept saying, and he went and checked twice, and he went and looked in another spot, and And I sure am sorry about that. And I, if it had come here, we would have scanned it and I would see that it was here somewhere. And I thought, well, that's just, that's good customer service. And for the first time in 10.5 years to have something like that happen, well, that's not bad for this little itty bitty post office in Waterloo, Nebraska. So anyway, I wanted to share that little story. So both Brooks Books, excellent customer service, and my little post office, which I know doesn't do you any good, but I just thought they kind of deserved a shout out. Got the patterns and they came like this, and they're just awesome patterns. And got started on it, and here is my little start. So bottom of Alice's dress, the kitty, the checkerboard at the bottom. Yeah, it's phenomenal. So this is how it looks. It's gonna look, I'm doing it just as the gal in Australia is doing it, and she's doing it 6 across, and then the grass and the checkerboard, and 6 down below, I believe is how she's doing it, and that's how I'll do it. And she had mentioned that the little details are such fun, and they just really are. Like, just the kitty, just really, really, really fun, and I just love it. It's so cute, just sweet. Okay, I have worked on Happily Ever After. I don't have that here. I am almost caught up with March, 3 Billy Goats. I know you guys have seen it other places. 3 Billy Goats Gruff. I have the Billy Goats and the little troll under the bridge done. I have to do the bridge, and there's a little house and some background, and I have to do some border stuff, and I hate to do borders, so I have to do that, but anyway, no big deal. Then I ordered just a few random things that I'll show you. Just one. I was on, I can't think of where I was. I just think I was on Amazon. And I love the little ornaments that are done on the plastic canvas, 14 count plastic canvas. And this came with everything, all the thread, and I used to collect snow globes. I don't anymore, but I still thought that was really cute just to have around, and it's an easy stitch just for something to work on, like a car project. A lot of times I have to be to soccer games an hour early if I'm working the gate, and so the first game already it was too windy to do anything, but if it's nice, it's kind of fun to sit there and do something, so got that for that. And then I was watching Little Snips. And this is the last thing, you guys, and then I'll let you go. But I was watching Little Snips, and she talked about diamond painting, and then she did a video about diamond painting. And I went online, take a drink of coffee to make this go down easier. The patterns for diamond painting are inexpensive, but apparently they have not been, okay, back up. Little Snips mentioned that some of the patterns are copyrighted and they're being stolen. So they're being produced out of China. China is stealing the patterns, creating these diamond painting kits without having rights to the pattern, and then distributing them. And before I'd heard her say that or heard this, I went online and I found this pattern, which I now see is a Hade, and it was and I ordered it. It was $15, very cheap. It came with all of the little diamonds, not like this. They came in little bags. I put them in these, and it came with the tacky pattern that you put the diamonds on. And I started it, didn't think anything about it, and then I rewatched or watched her video, and she talked about the fact that some of these are copyright, and that, the diamond painting community, YouTube community, is for everyone, and it's okay if you've bought these patterns and they're being, and you didn't know it, but the copyright is being stolen. And then I was on the Haid website the other day, and I see that this pattern is a Haid. And so I have this sinking suspicion that this is not, that this was a stolen copyright. This was a stolen Haid pattern. I don't like that. You know what? I've done handcrafts my whole life, and I have at different times done things to sell and have needed the money to do it, and have worked hard I've created some patterns, some quilting patterns, and some kind of like applique patterns and that sort of thing. And I don't like, we don't have the right to steal each other's patterns and each other's hard work. And it bothers me that companies are stealing things, but, and if I had known that, I wouldn't have bought this pattern, but I did, and I will finish it. And I will, I think I'll finish it. I don't know. You guys have seen this. It's just my first little start on the pattern. It actually goes this direction. I don't know a good way to do it. Yeah, it has all the symbols, and you stick the little diamonds on there, and I don't know, it's kind of fun. I have to come up with a different process because it hurts my neck and back, and so I'm going to have to come up with something where I raise the table or do something. But anyway, because, I needed one more pattern to do. But in the future, I won't buy from that company, and I won't, if I think there's any chance that those patterns are copyrighted and being stolen, I won't do that, because I just think that's not right. I think that we need to be respectful of people who work really hard, and artists work very hard to do things, and this is art, and I know for a fact that pattern designers and any of the handmade crafts they're not getting rich on this, guys. They're not making a bundle. In fact, I don't think really artists in general are making the big bucks these days. So, yeah. So anyway, that's just my little thing on that. Kind of along with that, and not necessarily to talk politics or anything like that, but just to sort of mention something that affects all of us. The National Endowment of the Arts is one of the big ways that all forms of fine arts get funded, and it's a national endowment that comes from the federal government every year, a certain amount, and then gets down to the state level, and then the state does their own funding, but then they use some of the federal money to fund the arts. And it's how things like public broadcasting so if you like Downton Abbey or any of the PBS shows, or any of the concerts that are sponsored by PBS, private funding is the number one way they get their money. But public, or federal and state money is a big source of funding, and really the only way that a lot of these different programs are able to succeed. And we have been. I mean, my children have watched, I remember watching Sesame Street. I mean, and public broadcasting, my father-in-law was in public broadcasting his whole life, but public broadcasting has been a big part of my life, just in shows that we've watched and concerts and that sort of thing. And then my son is now, as a high schooler, able to take part in a university, at the University of Nebraska, Omaha, a university jazz band that we pay $50 a semester for him to go, and he has a man who's a doctorate in trumpet teaching him, and he's able to perform with all of these outstanding kids from all over the state of Nebraska. And part of their funding comes from, as a state school, part of their funding comes from the NEA, the National Endowment for the Arts. And word on the street, and I've heard lots of different stories about this, but word on the street is that is about to be cut, that in tightening up the budget, sort of getting back to basics, that the federal government is going to cut to zero the NEA. That's what I've heard. Now, I've also heard people that say that's so not true, and I don't know. But I sent a letter to just a kind of a one letter to the president, the vice president, several senators and congressmen in Nebraska, as well as our governor and lieutenant governor. Just explaining, like, this chokes me up because, I think that obviously, fine arts it's not a necessity. Other things, Social Security and other things are a necessity. I understand that. But just to say, if there's any way to keep any kind of funding going for fine arts, this is how it's benefited our family, what kind of benefit we've seen to other families. So, if that's something that's important to you, and I mean, oh my gosh, we have museums here that are all but free of charge. I know most of the museums in Washington, D.C. are free of charge. A lot of that money comes from the NEA, you guys. I mean, when you think about how they keep these places going and what it costs to run programs, and so something to think about. Look it up, see what you find. If you're interested in that kind of thing, send a letter, let the people in power know. And I don't think it matters what side you're on, or if you're on any side, we all benefit from these programs, and the museums and the concerts and the music and the art and the dance and all of that kind of stuff. I think it was critical for me growing up, especially coming from a family with no money, having the ability to do different things because of programs like that, and super important to my kids. And I know that there are kids in Omaha that have very little. My kids are very blessed, but there are other children who have very little and who very, very much benefit from these programs. So think about it, look it up, send a letter if you get a chance. My animals are going crazy. I think that's all. I'm at 56 minutes. It's going to be nothing short of a miracle if this uploads and lets me upload a 56-minute video. If it doesn't, I don't know, I'm probably going to cry. I'm going to add some pictures here at the end. I think just of the Thanksgiving tree. I hope you all are well. I hope you're having a good stitchy week. Happy Monday, and hope to see you soon. Bye.